Thanks to decades of successful conservation work, wild panda numbers are starting to recover. In 2021, Chinese conservation officials announced that they no longer consider giant pandas in China an endangered species. Their status has been updated to vulnerable. There are now 1,800 giant pandas living in the wild, while another 600 pandas live in zoos and breeding centers around the world. That number was a significant increase from the total population of 1,522 giant pandas in year 2000. Internationally, the giant panda has been considered vulnerable for 5 years. The International Union for Conservation of Nature removed giant pandas from its list of endangered species in 2016, a decision that Chinese officials challenged at the time. Even though it's good to hear that the giant pandas are no longer endangered, they remain at risk. Wild pandas could once have been found throughout eastern and southern China, northern Vietnam, and northern Myanmar. Now, the pandas' range is restricted to just 6 isolated mountain ranges in Gansu, Shaanxi, and Sichuan provinces in south-central China. These fascinating species are threatened by a number of things, chief among them being their low reproductive rate. Pandas have difficulty breeding and often give birth to only 1 or 2 cubs at a time. It is very difficult for their population to recover from such a low point. Some animals have found ways to adapt to human activity in areas that were once wild. For example, raccoons once lived primarily in forests but now inhabit many cities and towns. Eating discarded food left behind by people, raccoons are able to adapt in this way because of their physical attributes, such as their digestive systems, which can digest nearly any kind of food, and their small size, which allows them to hide easily. There are other animals, such as pigeons and rats, that have adapted in similar ways to live alongside humans. Pandas have no such adaptations. They cannot simply move into cities and towns when their forests are destroyed, mainly because they are so specifically adapted to a life of eating bamboo. Pandas' digestive systems can't properly digest anything else, because bamboo shoots and leaves don't contain many nutrients. Pandas also must consume vast quantities of it, around 20 to 40 pounds a day. Even if pandas could eat something other than bamboo, pandas could never blend in safely in cities or towns due to their large size. For pandas, the environment they originally adapted to is the only environment where they can thrive. As China's population increased around giant pandas' habitat, the forest was cut down by hill farmers. Because their habitat was decreasing, giant pandas had to move up to higher mountain areas, which had few bamboo species. When these species declined, giant pandas didn't have enough food, according to the IUCN. The climate crisis could wipe out more than 35% of their bamboo forest habitat in the next 80 years. It's our responsibility to protect this species and its habitat by doing all the necessary steps to reduce climate crisis in the future, and join hands with organizations who protects our nature.